Sooner one, Boomer Sooner all. The Sooners are spending Halloween. The tricky Halloweens with Boots and the Goblins with the Jayhawks of Kansas. And Coach Beatty will preview that one with Coach David Beatty. We'll preview it. Everything you want to know about this game is coming up next. Plus, how a former Sooner who has a lot of the rings, good friends with Coach Stoops, is going to try to help David Beatty in the future. All that and more coming up next. The Sooner Schooner will be riding into Memorial Stadium in Kansas for a Oklahoma at Kansas matchup. Weather for the Sooners fans making their way to Kansas should be a lot like last week in the 60s, mid to low 60s. The sun should be coming out soon. No rain expected for the game itself. Now, it's kind of dreary right now. Kind of ugly, kind of low for the tailgating part. But once the official game starts, should be pretty good football weather. There is no Sooner legend doing the signing today at the corner of White and Asp. And the home of the OU, the newest radio affiliate here at OU, in Oklahoma for the franchise. They are not in Norman today because there is no home game. October 31st, Halloween, later today, 2:30 p.m., Fox Sports 1. Radio broadcast will be brought to you from Toby Rowland on the play-by-play, Merv Johnson, color analyzing, and on the sideline reporting, former linebackers at OU, Teddy Lehman, Sports Spot 1400, and the aforementioned the franchise in Oklahoma City, Rufus Alexander. But the main sideline reporter is my boy, my dog, the planker, Chris Plank, the Soonersports.com and .tv correspondent. He's also got a great podcast out there now, where he interviewed Joe Castiglione and the former Sooner we will talk about later, Calvin Thibodeau. But before we talk about Calvin, we'll talk about the TV broadcast part of it all. Play-by-play man for the TV, Joe Davis. Color analyzing will be Brady Quinn, and Chris Button will be on the TV side. Before we talk about the game itself and something interesting and we actually get into it, I'll tell you what I love is last weekend for the Texas Tech side, for the Texas Tech part of it. I was sitting there in my seat and I saw Bobby Jack Wright walk by. And I have such great seats now. I think they're on the second row, I think. Let's make sure on that. Second row, I want to say. Yeah, fourth row. But you're able to interact there. And I said, Bobby Jack, what up, my man? And he pointed back at me and said, what's up? So, hats off to Bobby Jack for that. I miss that guy on the sidelines. He's going to buy himself some time in the radio. He needs to do something like that. That guy is crazy. All right? It's awesome. I love it. Love that guy to you. But back to the game in its own right this week in the current Sooners. Something interesting. former Sooner Calvin Thibodeau, the defensive line coach for the Rock Chalk Jayhawks. And he's a former Oklahoma All-American. When he was on this side of the OU Kansas game, he did it from 03 to 07. And that includes, in those 4 years, he spent 3 of the 4 of them in BCS games, including 2 back-to-back national championships appearances in 04 and 05 with the Sugar and the Orange. Of course, that back-to-back championships kind of took a dip in 06 with Texas being kind of the dominant team. And 07 got back to the BCS as he went with the team to the Fiesta Bowl for that one. As I said, he's the new defensive line coach at Kansas, enjoying his first year out there. Calvin's former team, Oklahoma, really good points scored and all that. Points scored per ball game is up to 43.3. 43.3 points a ball game. You just wish you would have scored 43 points against Texas, don't you, Sooner fans? 43.3 points a ball game, 13th best in the nation. Yards per ball game, 407.10 or 0.10. I'm sorry. That is 19th best in the nation. Points allowed per ball game is at 20.0. Well, that's 55th best allowed in the nation. And games allowed per ball game, 338.0, 63rd in the nation. That is awesome. Awesome stuff heading into November. Of course, the Sooners are head coached by Bob Stoops. 16th year at OU. Right now, in 15 years, he's got a 168-44 record. That is an 802 winning percentage. That also is including an 8-5 record last year, which was tied for 4th in the Big 12 with themselves, Oklahoma, of course, Texas, and West Virginia. This year's Sooner Club doesn't look like they're going to finish 4th in the conference. They might, depending on how the next month goes. But so far, they're 2nd in the league. Well, I guess technically 4th in the league still, but that's because the other 3 teams are undefeated. Overall, 6-1, 3-1 in conference play. This is how we got here. We took care of Akron, 41-3. On the road at Tennessee. Great fans, by the way, there at Tennessee. Double overtime win there, 31-24. Came home to take care of Tulsa, 52-38. Then played West Virginia, took care of them, 44-24. Then took a trip to Dallas, where they only scored 17 points. Lost 27-17 to Texas, but got right back on track. 55-0 win at Kansas State. And now, of course, most recently at home, a 63-27 win over Texas Tech in Norman. Their last bowl win was 2014 last year, where they went to the Russell Athletic Bowl. Lost in that one to that time ranked 18th Clemson, 40-6. That evened Bob's record out at 8-8, 500 in bowl games. Conference divisional championships at Oklahoma, of course, have the one, the 2000, 2002, 2003. I guess was a conference or was a divisional championship. 2003, 2004, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2010, and 2012. Thibodeau part a couple of those. 03, 04, and 06. Speaking of Calvin Thibodeau, his new team, the Rock Chalk Jayhawks of Kansas. This is where they are. Points per ball game, 17.9. That averages out to 221st in the nation. They also are yards per ball game at 335.4, which is a $168th in the nation. Not much better defensively for Kansas, at least so far, for Beatty and company. Points allowed 45, which is 247th in the nation. And yards allowed per ball game, 563.1, which is 253rd in the nation. But do remember, they did play Texas Tech a few weeks back. And in that loss, it came down to basically the end of the game. Kansas Jayhawks are coached by David Beatty. First-year head coach David Beatty from Texas A&M. Came over from A&M. Took over for a Jayhawk team that last year in 2014 was 3-9. 1-8 in Big 12 play. 1-8 in Big 12 play, was best for 9th in the conference. This year, however, 0-7, 0-4 in the Big 12, including a field goal loss to South Dakota State, 41-38 in Lawrence. Then lost to the former Sooner that's now at Memphis there, 55-23. Took the show on the road a couple of times. Lost at Rutgers, 27-14. Lost at Iowa State, 38-13. Then lost to Baylor, 66-7. Then came that Baylor game we were talking about, and they lost that one, 30-20. And then last weekend they were in Stillwater for their homecoming game. Lost that one, however, in Stillwater for OSU's homecoming, 58-10. 2014, they won at home against Iowa State. That's their best win last year. Their bowl win, their best win, 34-14. Bowl record 0-0 for David Beatty. Conference divisional championships since Stoops came 2007, where they tied with Missouri. Did not get invited to the Big 12 championship game, but did take care of Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl. All right, guys, before we sign off here, I've been talking about the elephant in the room of that 58-10 loss to Oklahoma State. You guys know how I feel about my Sooners. I love my Sooners with all my heart, as JR would say. But my heart breaks when I hear about stuff like that. Particularly, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it happened in Stillwater last weekend. Their homecoming, man, it's like OU football. It's what it is. It's alive. It's kicking. It's live. That's awesome. That's what they're known for. Just like we're known for football, they're known for their homecoming party, their parade, not necessarily the game itself, which this weekend they played Kansas. But their homecoming in its own right. Just the parade and stuff. And that great parade was interrupted towards the end. Lady runs into the runs her car into a block of people that were watching the parade. And my heart prayer goes out for those people in Stillwater. I think that I said it best to Sam Mays, a former Oklahoma State offensive lineman, offensive guard, now does a lot of prep and pregame stuff for the franchise for their OU pregame. But I said, man, you know, that's not what it's about. I said, you know, Bedlam's one thing, but this is bad. Death is never good. So hopefully they can bounce back from that, and maybe little healing can be done. Maybe even in late November when we come in there, y'all maybe win the Big 12 and go to the national championship and bring home a national championship to help the healing. Maybe. You gotta get through my Sooners, man. Rivalry games, man. But with that being said, as I said, my heart breaks for you guys. Praying for y'all. As far as my Sooners are concerned, as I said, they are at Kansas for Halloween, so it should be pretty easy there. Particularly for a team that scores 43 points a game and Kansas gives up 45 points a game. Just saying. Of course, post-game, keep an eye out for my post-game report coming up later this week. I will also have a couple of basketball ones. The men's and women's basketball teams are finally getting started, so I'll have to do those too. Lots of videos coming up. But for this time, we're done. I'm out. See you guys for Iowa State. Find me on Facebook, Harry James Taylor. Tweet me at Sooner_fan_OK. Periscope. Blab, I do it all. I find it all. I am a social media junkie. So, pretty sure you can find me. Guys, thanks for watching. I've gone a little longer this time. Sorry about that. Enjoy your college football Saturdays, and as always, Boomer Sooner! See y'all for Iowa State. I'm out of here.